She is the heart behind I Heart Russellville. We are talking to Christie Graham right after this on the Spotlight. From the beautiful Alathus building in downtown Russellville, we welcome you into the Spotlight, presented as always by Alathus Realty Live. If you are looking to buy or sell your home, give us a call today. It's 479-968-5668 or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. One of our fine agents will be willing to help you through your home buying or selling process. Coming up tomorrow on KARV, it's the Spotlight live at 8:30. We've got all kinds of great stuff for you. That's always a big time event, so don't miss it. It's the Spotlight on KARV at 8:30 tomorrow morning. That's AM 610 and 93.1 FM. I'm so excited about our guest today. I'd like to say that she is the heart behind I Heart Russellville, and I don't think that I would be mistaken in saying that. Her name is Christie Graham. Christie, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
We have done so many of these shows already, and it's a travesty. It's a travesty I haven't had you on here sooner. I actually feel like I owe you an apology on that.
It's okay. I won't hold anything against you.
I appreciate that. Let's talk about that for just a minute, because this show was created for a couple of reasons. Obviously, we want to put the Alathus logo on certain things, but my heart behind it was to talk about positive things in our community. People who might be moving into the area who see this or say, hey, this is a great place to live and to work. I Heart Russellville was created for basically the same reason, right? Kind of walk me through that.
Right. Well, first I want to appreciate the fact that you're trying to, be positive with things, because Russellville is a positive place and we have lots of positive things. And I think sometimes we that live here forget that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it just takes a little bit of a nudge, or you travel outside of the city and you come back and then you go, oh, wow, we really do have a great community. We do really have a great school district. We really do have beautiful mountains and beautiful lakes, streams, river, like we have it all. And people would love to have what we have. So we just kind of forget. And so that's what sparked my, hey, I just want to remind people, we do love our community. We do love Russellville. And that's what developed into, I've been to New York numerous times and I was like, well, we love Russellville too. And so that's just kind of what sparked it. And so what I love about it is not the fact that I created it and I can put it everywhere, but the fact that people bought into it. And I mean, if you go anywhere, you see it. I Heart Russellville. They come and get the stickers. They call me and want the stickers. We have, numerous people that have put it on their buildings and their facilities and their front doors and all that. So that tells me right there, they were also proud to have it on their doors.
The thing that you mentioned right there was they're proud to do it. That's buy-in. And that tells me too that the culture of this community is not what we always see on social media. It's there's far more to it than that. The how quick people bought into I Heart Russellville is a testament to how much people really do love the community here.
Well, the timing was so interesting because I came out with it in December as COVID was starting. I guess that would be 19? Right there at that December.
However long this has been.
I know, I'm so lost at how long it's been going on. But I came out with it in December, and then things started shutting down like March and April. But people would still call because that was something they could still grasp a hold of and still promote and do. And it still continued. Like it could have easily died, but it didn't. And so that's when we had the mural made. And that during our downtime, we still moved forward with that. And it just took off and it spread. And people were calling and they wanted the stickers and they wanted to put it on their building. And so the fact that it even made it through COVID even is a bigger testament, I think.
I think too that COVID has, in one aspect when it comes to Russellville, helped show some of the heart of Russellville. I remember last year there was supposed to be a women's conference at the First Baptist Church, and they had ordered. I was the general manager at a restaurant here in town that was catering this event. They had to cancel it, and so instead of wasting all of this food, there was a group of people from First Baptist Church and from the restaurant that I was working in, and a group of volunteers who went and dispersed this to people who needed it, to our firefighters, to our police officers, all in the name of, hey, we love this community.
Yeah.
It's more than just a saying, isn't it?
Oh, very much so. Because I mean, that's one of numerous stories. You know, Main Street Russellville and Danielle was feeding the people at the testing site for COVID, and then you hear of people that were just going and buying gift certificates at restaurants to help keep those restaurants, you know, open and going. And just the stories I've heard through all that is just a testament to what this community is and how we take care of one another when push comes to shove. And I just think it's a fabulous community. So that's why I started the I Heart Russellville. There was so much negative, but there's so much to be positive about. And so that was the image. And that's what I told the mayor. I just said, I'm just kind of tired of the negative. Like, let's talk about the positive for a little while. Let's count our blessings.
You know, Mayor Harris was one of our first guests when we started this show back in March or April, and he's coming on again in September, I believe. And that was one of the things that we talked about was there really is there's some great people here. You've talked about all the amenities, but go into a little bit before I Heart Russellville began. I'd like for you to talk about the concept and how it really just, I mean, what weighed on your heart to create this campaign?
Let me give you a little bit of my background. So
Sure.
I'm from Russellville, born and raised, moved off for a short time period, my husband and I, and knew really quick when I had my first child that I wanted to move back to Russellville. So that kind of sets the whole stage of truly how much I love Russellville. I'm a Tech alumni, born and raised here. So, I mean, I'm Russellville through and through when it comes to, you know, being from here. Moved back and then eventually have this role that I'm in currently now. I've been in for 15 years. So there's not anyone that can really even say it more than myself that I truly love Russellville. I believe in Russellville. I'm out here. I want what's best for Russellville. I want my kids to stay here. So the heart behind it is I truly, genuinely love it. And I wanted to be like, okay, there's so much negative between multiple things going on, not just one or not just this other, but multiple things. And so I thought to myself, you know, we get caught up in that.
Yeah.
And we were caught up in it. And I just decided in my head that I'm going to start talking about the good things. It's the same concept we teach our kids. Like, we don't want to be negative. Let's be positive.
Right.
Let's be kind. Let's not find the negative things in people. Let's find the good things. Let's talk about the good things. And so that's truly what started it. And just wanted to do some great marketing for Russellville, and it just fell into place.
Were you surprised at how quickly it caught on, though? I mean, we were just talking about, hey, man, this really did catch on. Were you surprised by that at all?
Well, you know, I'm supposed to say no to that because I created it, you know, and you count on things succeeding.
Right.
But yes, I am like, yes, really, I am. So I'm super proud of the community. I'm proud of people getting behind it. Richard and Kara Payne were the first people that called me. I'll never forget it with Feltner's. And Feltner's. Yeah, Feltner's.
Yeah,
I think I said the wrong. Yes.
Feltner's Athletes
Yes.
Corner, our
Yes.
good friends Richard and Kara.
Kara, they called me, and so I'm so proud. And Richard was like, I just want to put a banner up. Can I put a banner up? And I was like, yes, thank you so much. And from there, it just dominoed. And I would have people message me, call me, find me when I was out, and just to be like, how do I do this? And I'm like, I'll send you the paper, you know, I'll send you the logo, I'll send you this, and it's all over town. And I'm super proud to say, which I'd love to talk about this, it was our first mural. And so that was even better downtown that we got to put it, my board, the Russellville A&P board, the Russellville Tourism and Visitor Center, backed it, and it was our first mural. So it just, yes, I'm very proud of it.
We're talking to Christie Graham. She's the executive director of the Russellville Tourism and Visitor Center. If you are interested in buying or selling your home, give us a call today, 479-968-5668, or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. By the way, if you're out of town and you're watching this and you're thinking, hey, I may want to move here, call Christie as well. Give her a shout. She can clearly sell the city of Russellville just like we can. And I want to go back to that because when we started this show, there was some conversation about, you know, why is a real estate company doing, you know, something like this? And it was truly because it's not just about finding the right house.
Right.
when you're buying and you're looking at that, you're looking for a place to raise your kids, you're looking for a place to really call home. And we wanted to talk about all of the positive sides of that. Can you think in the last 15 years of you in this position where things like that have really stuck out to you, of the community surprising you with their generosity?
Um, I'm sure there's numerous occasions. I get to be a part of multiple different scenarios. Doctors moving in with St. Mary's, um, different projects we've worked on trying to, get to win to come to Russellville, and us having to sell the city. And I always get to do that and get to show them the school districts and get to show them around town and show them the beauty that we have and the downtown and just the people. And I'm never surprised because everybody always comes through. We're friendly. I have fishermen that come in and they want to come back to Russellville. They say, we love Russellville. They're kind to us. We go to some cities and they're rude to us because we take up 2 parking spots. We do all these things. But it seems like people around here get it. They truly love their community. So I'm not surprised that that people do so well, like when people come into town.
Was this something that when you were growing up, you said, you know what? This is what my destiny is. This is the job I want to do. Or did you have something different in mind?
No, I never knew that I would do this. I do love people. My personality is very much extrovert. So, I knew I wanted to do something with people. When I came back and even when I took the job, I didn't know I would love it as much as I do. It's evolved. I love all the aspects of it. I love that I get to deal with people. I love that I get to share Russellville. I love that I get to be out and about amongst people. If I had to sit in an office, that wouldn't suit me well. So I dare to say, I love just getting to share about Russellville.
What was the plan originally? What were you going to do?
Politics.
Politics.
I would have loved to have started in that, just didn't evolve in that. Married, and my husband and I went in the ministry, and did that for multiple years, college pastors and youth pastors, and got back here and got this job, and it just fits me well.
I find that striking because you and I have never had an extended interaction. We've met several times. We've never had an extended interaction. That was my thought process too. I was going to go into journalism. Go into politics, ran a couple of times, didn't work out. Thank God it didn't work out. Right. You're doing ministry at the same time. I was doing ministry, and it's interesting to me that all of these things have one thing in common. They're all community minded. They're all heart based things. They just tend to go in different directions. If there was one thing you could do for the community right now that you haven't yet done, what would you do currently?
That's a tough question. That's a good one. One I've never been asked. Probably just a different role serving people, whether that be, city council, mayoral, thought about, school board, things like that. I love serving people. I love being able to get in there and develop plans and organizational restructuring. I love events. I love planning. It drives my family crazy. Like, right. I love it. I love senior breakfast. I just did that this week for the high school. I love planning things at my church, from women events to all kinds of things to planning the fishermen coming in. So anything like that, I love it. So who knows?
With that organization, here's a personal question. Are you one of those that when you take a vacation, you've got the strict itinerary, or do you just kind of go with it?
Okay, so in my younger days, I needed a itinerary. Now, not so much. I guess I'm loosening up as I get older. Just came from the beach, and I didn't want to do anything but sit on the beach. I still was checking emails and had to take phone calls, of course, but yes.
That's an interesting road to go on, too. What's different between you now and you 15 years ago when you started this? Is the approach different?
Yes. So I would probably say I was more rigid. Learned a lot. You raise kids and things are not quite as big of a deal as they were. I have an 18-year-old. I just choose not to argue with him anymore. They're at that age where you're like, okay, then just go do that, So, and you take that approach, I think, as well. Like, things aren't as big of a deal. We'll work through it. We're going to figure this out. I think you value and see the things that are, like I said, within the city. You really see what you have. You take it for advantage when you're younger. You're on that fast pace. You have young kids, but as you get older, you start to really see what's important and what you really have and your blessings, I think.
I would agree with that. Even now, being 34, still in that millennial young
Mm-hmm.
kind of age group, but starting to see that, hey, the stuff that you thought mattered doesn't.
Right.
And there's more important things to worry about. And that shifts into another conversation I wanted to have with you was, we've been focusing on the positive, but there is negative out there. What can we do as a community, not just you, because the onus is not just on you to
Right.
do this, it's on all of us, it's on us here to lay this. How can we help change that conversation to, oh, look at all the things we don't have, to, hey, look at how good we've got it? How do we
Right.
change our perspective?
Well, I think so many people run from hard things. So I think one of the things I've learned is, challenges and hard things aren't necessarily bad sometimes. It really gives us an opportunity to look at them, address them, hit them straight on, but be willing to change them. When you're not willing to change and you're not willing to tackle the problems or the issues or things like that, I think that's when they become a bigger issue. If we have issues and we're willing to tackle them, readdress them,
Yeah.
the things, the structural things in Russellville and the things like that, personal things, the quicker you address them. I always tell my kids, stop procrastinating, like hit it straight on and let's deal with it and move on. And I think as a city, we need to do that as well. Like if we have issues, just hit it straight on and let's talk about it. Let's set a committee. Let's see how we can change it. Let's see how it can evolve and try to move it towards that positive direction.
In that same vein, we often talk about how we can change conversation among politicians, but for me, I've always believed that the conversation has to shift at the grassroots in order to kind of move its way back up. How do we do that part? I mean, we say, hey, let's hit this straight on from a city perspective, but for the rank and file folks, hey, what can they do? What can we do?
I think we just have to be willing to communicate. So I'm a communication major. It's big to me. And I tell my kids and my husband, and I think in all aspects, even I have a great relationship with the mayor, and I think we have such a great relationship because we communicate a lot.
Yeah.
And I think whether it's personal to city, to your job, to anything in life, I think things are healthier. Marriages, kids' relationships, anything is healthier when you're communicating. And when we're talking about issues, when you're talking about anything, you're moving things down the field, so to speak. But it's when you're not talking and not addressing them and all that they stay there and they stay null and void.
Right.
So the quicker that we can just address things, whether we agree or agree to disagree, but let's talk about it and let's see where we can go with it. And not everyone agrees on everything, but like I have a group called the Calendar Girls, which we can talk about in a minute. But I created this group of ladies within the community. I wanted a group that got together. We don't all have the same beliefs, same everything, but we have one thing in common, and that's to sell Russellville. All of our jobs pertain to selling Russellville. And so we come together once a month. We have breakfast once a month, and that's what we do. And we discuss and how we can make things better within Russellville. This group is so tight, and we absolutely adore each other now and help each other with each other's events. It's Danielle with Main Street Russellville, it's people from the chamber, it's people from the state park, it's Christie Clayton at the Center for the Arts, it's a whole bunch of us, and we come together. So that's just an example of how you can make it work. It's just a mindset to me. Like, I may not agree with you on all subjects, but you know what? We can have a beautiful conversation about it. Just be kind.
Yeah, and I was a broadcast journalism guy, so communication was clearly very big to me too. And I that might be the most frustrating part of where we are as just in general. As like we just don't talk. We just yell all of the time. I am fascinated by the thing that you said just a few minutes ago, was this group of people coming together, the Calendar Girls. Now I did not know about this. I just discovered this. What's the genesis of the Calendar Girls?
Well, I went to other towns, and they actually had meetings where like people within their community got together and discussed their community, and just really got together on a monthly basis and involved their mayor and different things. And I'm like, we don't have anything like that. This was early on in my years. And I just really loved that concept. Again, I'm like a team player. Let's all come together. Let's see how we can make things better. Started with 3 or 4 of us. It started when Betsy was down at the depot, and it started
God bless Betsy McGuire.
Yes, and it started when Felicia was at the chamber, and they were my 2 initial members. And we would just get together and discuss, okay, you're doing this and you're doing this, and how can I help? And let's stay off each other's weekends. That's ultimately my goal as the director of tourism, is to fill the hotels. That's what pays my tax. My 3% tax is paid above and beyond state and sales tax to the hotels, and they in turn send that to my office. I use that money to sell Russellville. That's my whole job. And so anything that pertains to that falls in my plate. And so I just said, how can we get together and do a better job? How can the chamber and how can Main Street and how can I get together and we partner? What can I help you with? And ultimately, I wanted different events on different weekends. We'd have a weekend that had 3 different events on it. And I'm like, let's spread that out and let's dominate the whole calendar for the city of Russellville. It's now evolved into a whole row, and we do call it the Calendar Girls because it happens to be,
there we go.
It happens to be all girls. Not sure what's going to happen when it's boys.
There we go.
So I think this is either our 4th or 5th year. These calendars have all the Russellville dates on them from all these organizations, and they're free to people. The AMP, the Tourism and Visitor Center, wants to make this free to the community. They're beautifully printed calendars, and this year didn't have dates on it because of COVID, because we were so unsure. But next year we'll have all of our dates back on there. They're free to pick up at any of our offices of the ladies that's in this group.
I saw a few I recognized in there.
Yes.
I think I saw. Let's see, who do we have here?
So
We've got Carrie Phillips and Julie Palladino over there. Who else we have?
We do. We have Rachel Jones with the school district. Myself, Christie Clayton with the Center for the Arts, Sarah Keating with Lake Dardanelle State Park, Megan with the Boys and Girls Club, Tabitha with the Chamber, Danielle Hausnick with Main Street, Carrie Phillips with Tech. We're making sure we've got all aspects covered. And then Julie Palladino is kind of my wild card because she worked for the city at the time when she was put in there. And then I've just kind of kept Julie around because she helps me with special projects.
Right.
She's a wealth of knowledge, and I just truly lean on her for quite a few things. Kelly Neely is with Parks and Rec, and then Tanessa's with the city.
Right.
So, and Debbie has now joined us. The mayor's assistant has joined us as well.
Outstanding.
So, just a fabulous group
That's a dream
of
team.
powerful women, and I just love it. And it's just funny that it's all turned out to be females. We say all the time, we don't know what's going to happen when a male gets in there. He's going to have big shoes.
Yes, and I want to know when that happens.
Okay.
Because I want to
We'll
interview.
reevaluate.
I want to.
Okay.
I want to interview him and see how that goes.
It'll be interesting. So, but we're super proud of this project. It's a great community project.
That's outstanding. We are talking, of course, to Christie Graham. If you were interested in buying or selling your home, give us a call today. It's 479-968-5668. Cruise on over to RussellvilleLiving.com. Hey, Russellville is a wonderful place to live, as Christie has been telling us. But we've got some events that are coming up as well. Let's talk about them. What do we got coming our way?
Sure. Well, any weekend, you just pick a weekend and we have events from disc golf tournaments to softball tournaments. We've had softball tournaments this year like crazy. When I say a softball tournament, I'm talking 80 teams times, 10
Right.
players on a team. So we've had it filled from Clarksville to Morrilton multiple weekends. I love sharing, but that's my goal, is to not fill the surrounding towns hotels, just to fill
Right.
mine. But, we do love sharing when we can push them that far. So we have, one of my favorite events we have coming up is our first annual mountain bike festival on Nebo. So if you don't know, we have some great, the Walton Foundation has, developed and put in some extravagant cycling trails. And so we're having an event up there in conjunction with the city of Russellville and the city of Dardanelle.
Yes.
And then Nebo. All 3 of us have partnered, which is, again, it's just communication, going together to bring something good to all of our communities.
And that's also, of course, the event we want to remind you of. I'm clearly, you can tell, I'm not a cyclist, but I like Arkansas, and they are going to be there that weekend over at the depot. And of course, Danielle Hausnick has talked with us about that before. I don't know, I've got some collar issues. Sorry about that. Sorry, everybody had to see that, y'all. These are great events that we're talking about. Of course, Fall Fest is coming up downtown
Yes.
Russellville. Food Stock is coming up in downtown
Yes.
Russellville, and then this Bike Fest has been a topic of conversation because of just how much had to go into it. it was really and truly community synergy, wasn't it?
It was. And I was on the beginning of Las Vegas,
Mhm.
the whole concept of that, because I was looking for someone to do a half marathon for our city when that all came to fruition. And so I was on the very beginning of that. And so it's been kind of the same whole, hey, we've got to get this group. There's lots of time, lots of hours that have gone into this, but a great group of probably 20 something people that are really trying to get this off the ground to be a huge event for this community.
I have another question that is unrelated, but one that I like to ask, especially of people who are in positions of leadership within the city. Since I have been more involved, I have found that there are always the people that you know, but there are some people that you may not see that are in the background, but if they were not here, everything would fall apart. Who are some of our unsung heroes?
Oh man, there's so many. Like with the Las Vegas Half Marathon, do you know Dana Colwell?
Mhm.
She was the one that went and got all the volunteers. And when I'm talking volunteers, hundreds of volunteers. She was kind of a secret stash of knowledge there, and really helped there. Greg Hines, I kind of knew Greg, but he's the leading the whole mountain
Yeah.
bike, and he's been phenomenal. I mean, that poor man, I don't know when he sleeps. So he's done a great job at doing all of that. Just to name a few, any event, probably my disc golf people to the people that are mowing when the course shut down and aren't mowing. Do you know there's individuals in this community that mow the disc golf courses just to keep our disc golf courses up? I mean, I could go on and on. The people that are doing the little work that you never see.
That's so
I could
pivotal.
sit down. Yes,
It's
that
so
just
pivotal.
make it, I get to talk about it and I get to be the front lines, but there's dozens daily that are doing things to make all these great events that I get to talk about happen though. All your people at the Hugh Center and for Terry that work for Terry at our
Mhm.
parks department, they're just amazing. And they make all the parks look pretty to get to bring in all these events. So I have to brag on them.
Christy, you got some stuff in your hand? What do we need to promote here?
Well, I always love to get to talk about one of the aspects that I get to do, which is marketing.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't get to see a lot of what I do because here in Russellville, you're not my target.
Right. We
And
live
so,
here.
yeah, that's right. So I don't target you, so you don't get to see all my pieces. But I'm super proud of a couple of the pieces that we do have in my office. This is called Routes and Rides. It's something that I created, and it's just routes that when you come to Russellville on a motorcycle, I have routes for you because ultimately I want you to stay the night in Russellville, but then I want you to go out and ride and come back to Russellville and eat and buy your gas and to stay. This is I go through 10 to 15,000 of these a year.
Wow.
Just sending these out, trying to get them to people. We have high traffic from Dallas and Louisiana and Oklahoma that come in to ride for us on our roads. One of my favorite pieces is just this Russellville guide. It just has all the basic information while you're staying in Russellville. Your hotels, our 10 most favorite places to eat in Russellville: Ode South, Stobie's, No Chains, all local. So we love getting this. Whataburger
Right.
and CJ's and all those fun places, Pasta Grill. And when you go to a community, that's what you want. Where's the best place here to eat?
Where can
Who
I not
has
go
the
anywhere
best?
else?
That's
Yeah.
right. And so we loved putting that piece together. And we send. I'm almost out right now, and we send probably 15,000 of those through a year out to different groups and organizations and welcome centers and all that. So we're just proud of a couple of the pieces we have. I do have all new postcards. It's funny how often I'm asked for a Russellville postcard. So we have printed all new postcards, and they're just kind of fun things, our favorite things that we have going on in Russellville, and they're really pretty and beautiful. So we have those. You can always get an I Heart Russellville sticker. I'll bring them to your location, and then we take pictures and post them on our social media, just showing your support for Russellville. So I'd love to leave a couple of these for y'all
do. Yes.
on your new doors. And then one of the other things that are brand new are our stickers for bikes and cyclists and people coming to town. When you go to a city and you get to pick up stickers to put on your car, your bike, your notepads. Kids love them on water mugs right now and different things.
Yeah.
So we had to come out with some of our own. So these are brand new. Probably the first time anybody's seeing these today. So we have these in the office now.
Okay, first time. Let's get a good shot
Really
right
good
there.
shot.
There we go. I'll throw some
super
pictures on social for
fun.
that as well. That's
Yeah.
an exclusive right here on the Spotlight, folks.
Yeah, so super proud of some of those things. So,
Two questions, and then we're going to wrap up. Number one, how can we as a community, the rank and file, a guy like me who just, clocks in and clocks out every day, how can we best sell Russellville for the people outside of here?
Very much so. Good question. So the best thing I can advise is for people to get involved in their community. It takes involvement. If you love your community and want it to continue to thrive and be a healthy, what I call quality of place, where we have the other things, the extra things, we need people like you to get involved, to serve on RYBA, to serve on your soccer association boards. If your kids are involved at your school, get involved on your booster clubs, your PTOs. We need people. That's what makes this community go around. We need the people involved to continue to grow our programs, to grow our parks, to step up and to have a voice of what you want to see. And that's some of the times the biggest struggle is because, as you can see, I don't have a problem with speaking up and sharing and what I love and all that. But we need to hear from people, like what other things would you love to see? But not just speak up about it, be willing to be there and back it and to help. And, we're creating new trails in Russellville.
Right.
Where would you love to see a new trail? What kind of new events would you love to see come to Russellville? And then get behind it and help support it and help raise the money for it and all that. It's easy to sit back and complain about things or say we don't have this or we don't have that. But it's, when you get behind something and you're willing to push it and see it through fruition, it's really helpful.
Yeah, there's something gratifying about that. I've been involved in a couple of different projects like that where you have this idea, you've got to move it forward, and you do, and then you see it become a significantly bigger thing than you ever dreamed of, and
and you're super proud of it.
Of course you are. It's good to have it locally.
That's right.
It's good to have it right here.
What it does is when you get behind things and you're actively involved in your community and you start seeing all that it takes to bring things, things take time and people want things quick. We live in this generation. Yep. I want it now, and I want it my way. And I really don't care if I step on your toes, and I really don't care what you want. And so that's really created this,
Certainly,
so get behind things, see what it takes and see the process. And then what that creates is a sense of pride. And you're happy and you see what it takes and you can honestly say, I had a part in that.
Right.
And we need more people. We need people in this community to step up and, it not be always the same people.
And I would add too that I think that you have to have a heart for people.
You do.
To make this work. You really do. It's not just, I so many times, especially in the nonprofit world, if you're trying to do something, there's a lot of these folks who say, hey, I want to start something that may already exist. Go get behind this thing that is already here and do something positive for the community. My final question, you have said that you love Russellville, and you have talked about all of the amenities, and you have gone through the pitch, the broadened elevator pitch, I might add, a great pitch of why we love Russellville, and I love it too. I know why I love it. Why do you love it?
Why do I love Russellville? I love Russellville because we're a small community that genuinely is beautiful, genuinely has good people, good school district. I say it all the time. We have some of the most beautiful land around. You get mountains and you get it all. And I love it because we love each other. We still have a very good community that at the end of the day takes care of their own.
Yeah.
And, when push comes to shove and things are hard, we genuinely do come together. We can be, divisional at times, but genuinely we do come together and we have an incredible, I see it every day when I go out and represent us, how good of a community we have.
Christy Graham, this has been a pleasure. We got to do this again sometime.
Thank you. I think we could talk for a long time.
I think we could. Thank you so much for being here on the Spotlight, and thank you for joining us here today. We've got a brand new show coming your way tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock as always, and then of course don't miss the Spotlight on KARV. Of course, that's AM 610 and 93.1 FM tomorrow morning at 8:30. For now, my name is Drew Brent. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.